What's up everyone, this is Sean, your physical therapy application coach. In this video, I'll be referencing some worksheets that you can use to help make your application process as simple and efficient as possible. To get access to these free worksheets and receive my monthly newsletter, bonus, pause the video and click on the link in the description down below. It will take you to my website where you can sign up to join my email list. Also, if you find the information in my videos to be valuable, go ahead and click on that subscribe button so you can keep up to date when I post new content. Now, let me get out of your way so you can enjoy the video. Your references or letters of recommendation are a crucial part to your application. This is because a third party is able to provide insight into who you are as an individual. This information is so valuable for anyone who's reviewing your application. Let's talk about the details of what goes into this. I want to take a brief detour and talk about the topic of branding. Branding is the process of creating an image of a product or an idea in the mind of a potential customer. So as you look at these different brands, I want you to think about the thoughts or feelings that come to your mind as you see these images. In my opinion, these companies have done very well at creating an image in my mind as to what it is that they're trying to sell or what their product does for me. This is the concept of branding. So, what is your brand? What is the unique image that you want to create in the mind of whoever is reviewing your application? Who are you as a person? What's unique about you? Or what are you known for? Your brand should be consistent. And this, of course, is going to vary. You're not going to be the same person with your boss as you are with your family on the weekend or with your friends on the weekend. But essentially, you should be known for the same things. Or you should have the same strengths no matter who it is that's talking to you. Your references should be a testimonial of your brand. Think about the last product that you bought on Amazon and whether or not looking at the reviews played a factor in you purchasing that product. I know it does for me all the time. Your letters of reference are a testimonial for your brand. They are a product review of you. Another way to look at this would be the term brand champions. So how many references do you need? Short answer, 4. 2 physical therapists, 1 professor, preferably a science professor, and 1 wild card. This wild card could be a boss from a completely different field outside of physical therapy. It could be someone who is the head of an organization that you volunteer with, or it can even be a coworker. I will say that these vary depending on the school, but the vast majority of programs have a letter of reference breakdown that follows this. 2 PTs, 1 professor, and 1 wild card of your choosing. Picking your references can be challenging because you know a lot of people and you make a lot of acquaintances along the way. So how are we going to narrow down our list and decide on who our references will be? If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this point. You always want to pick the people who know and like you the best. Seems like a pretty straightforward concept, but you'd be surprised. Now, if there's a physical therapist in your area that is famous or very well known, but they don't know you very well, they may not be the best person to write you a letter of reference. You always want to go with the people who know you the best and who will write you the strongest letter. This should go without saying, but if you have close family members who are professors, PTs, bosses, that's great, but you should not be using them as your letters of reference. It's a conflict of interest and it generally just does not look good. So this includes parents, obviously, aunts and uncles, etc., etc. You want to make sure that you have a real or genuine relationship with whoever your reference is. You don't want to be fake and just put a face on for them because you're thinking, I need this person to write me a strong letter, and that's the only reason I'm going to act the way I do around them. An example of this would be if you are trying to get a letter of reference from a professor that teaches a class with over 600 people in it, it might be a little challenging. That's not to say that you can't do it, but if you have a smaller class, say there's 50 of you, you will be able to most likely have a better relationship with that professor about that subject matter, and that can lead to a stronger letter of reference. Not all of your letters need to be from physical therapists. So if you have a professor on campus who's a PT, and you have 2 PTs that you work with, and you want to include a third one, that's up to you. Go back to our rule of whoever's going to write you the strongest letter and who knows you the best. However, I will say for myself, my professor was not a physical therapist who wrote my letter of recommendation, and my wild card was someone from a job that was completely unrelated to physical therapy. You can look at this from both angles. PTs want to hear from PTs about how an applicant will be as a PT student, but it also can be beneficial for whoever's reviewing your application to look at you outside of the lens that a physical therapist typically evaluates. So, when should you ask your references to be references? Whenever you meet the right person, that's the right time to ask them. Even if you think you may want a letter from them, just ask. So if you are a freshman or a sophomore and you really hit things off with a professor and you think you potentially want to ask them for a letter of reference in the future, go ahead and ask them if they would be willing to do that and what you need to do to get a good letter or a strong letter from them. After you ask, you need to communicate your timeline for when you're going to apply. Keep in regular contact with this individual. I would say once a quarter if you don't see them regularly. And once you're done and you've sent off your request, you've picked your 4 individuals and they've completed their letter of reference for you, write them a thank you note or give them some other small token of appreciation. The fact that they're taking time out of their day to help you is significant. And oftentimes, therapists and professors are writing a lot of these letters, so it means a lot when they take the time to do it. So here's my magic formula for asking your reference to be a reference. You don't just want to ask for a letter of recommendation. You want to ask for a strong letter. So when you ask your reference to get a strong letter from them, whatever their response is, they'll say, I want you to pay attention in class. I want you to go above and beyond when you're here in the clinic and to show me that you interact really well with patients, yada, 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 whatever it is. You can't assume that just because you want someone to write you a letter, that you will get a strong letter from them. By asking them early and ahead of time, it shows preparation, and it's going to allow you to be able to maximize your potential to get a great letter. Hold up your end of the bargain. Pretty straightforward. Stand out. Don't be fake. Be genuine, but stand out. You may also want to take some time to talk to this individual about your brand or the unique image that you're trying to create. You'll just mention this as, hey, as you're writing my letter, these are some points of emphasis that I'm trying to make. If you wouldn't mind, would you include some of these? So what will your reference be doing when they receive their reference request from PTCast? So first things first, they're going to complete questions and evaluation ratings on the PTCast portal, and then they will upload a letter of reference to that same portal. If you want to pause and take a look, these are the different areas that they're going to evaluate you on. And as far as our calls to action go, there's only one. and it's working through the branding and reference worksheet. This worksheet will take you through the process of helping you discover your brand and get you thinking about potential individuals that you can ask to be your letters of reference.